Yes, it's another Chinese SUV, but don't roll your eyes and click off just yet, because the new Chery Tiggo 9 is so much 7-seat plug-in hybrid for the money that you'd be foolish to dismiss it if you're after a chunky family SUV. But it's not just about being a lot of car for the money, although, at just over £43,000 for a 7-seater with 91 miles of electric running, it is just that. It's also really quite good. But before I go into why it's really quite good, let's go back to the beginning and talk about who or what Chery is as a brand, because I think that's what a lot of people are going to be asking. So, let's get it out of the way. Chery, of course, it's a Chinese manufacturer. It is not a new brand. It's been around since the 90s. And for a bit of context, 2025, Chery sold 2.8 million cars globally, which is 1 million more than Tesla, by the way. So, it's not small fry, is it? It's doing pretty well. Chery is also the parent company behind JQ and Omoda, and so JQ is on and off selling one of the most popular selling cars in the UK at the moment with the JQ7. So they've already seen quite a lot of success with those two brands. In terms of how Chery fits in with those two brands that are already here, well, think of JQ as the Land Rover-esque one, Omoda is kind of a bit more Cupra, Kia, a bit sporty, and I'd say that Chery, maybe a bit more Skoda. It's making happy cars as they think it, but definitely focusing comfort, practicality, that kind of thing. The Tiggo 9 is the range-topping car in the Chery lineup, with smaller SUVs including the Tiggo 4, 7 and 8 already available. At 4.8 metres long, the Tiggo 9 is a rival to 7-seaters like the Peugeot 5008, Hyundai Santa Fe, Kia Sorento and its own stablemate, the Omoda 9. So, to give you a bit of frame of reference for that pricing, if you want a Peugeot 5008 top spec one, you're looking at more like £48,000. Hyundai Santa Fe, more like £58,000. And both of those, you're looking at nearly half the electric range that you get on this. The only car I can think of that comes close to, or maybe even betters the value that you're getting with this, is actually the new MG S9 plug-in hybrid, because that's 37 grand for the top spec one, and that gets 62 miles of electric running, so that's not bad either, is it? So you definitely want to check that out if you're considering the Tiggo 9. In terms of, the way it looks, I know it's the pricing that's going to turn heads more than the styling, I think is fair to say. I don't mind it though, it's all right. The alloys really remind me of Mercedes alloy designs. There's aspects of the front of it, if you look at that grille. I mean, this is a bit niche maybe, but it reminds me of some of the old Infiniti models that were brought to the UK. So there's something a bit Nissan-ish, a bit Infiniti, a bit Mercedes. But yeah, it's forgettable but fine, isn't it? Now, another reason that you might really like this car is because it's massive inside. Here we go, look. So, I think most people are going to spend most of their time with this car in its 5-seat mode, in which case you've got 819 litres of space. Now, there isn't any underfloor storage, because that's where the battery is. Still pretty huge. And weirdly, this boot doesn't seem to open very high, so if you're tall, you're going to hit your head on that quite easily. But even so, good sized boot. I would add, of course, there is no frunk on this as you get in electric cars, or some of them anyway, because of course there is a 1.5 litre petrol engine under there because it's a plug-in hybrid. With all 7 seats in place, you get 143 litres of boot space, which is enough for some shopping bags or even a lightweight single buggy. If you want maximum boot space and can sacrifice all of your passengers, well, you can drop the 3rd and 2nd row seats flat for a pretty vast 2,023 litres of space. So I will say access to the 3rd row in here isn't great because it's quite a narrow little entry through the side door, and it's only this single seat in front of me that does the tilt and slide. These seats on the passenger side of the car, they don't have that, so you're going to want to get into the car from the driver's side. To be honest, when you're in, it's not that bad because you've got this standard pano roof, so there's actually a bit of light coming in. There's also some little lights up here, and you've got cup holders, a little slot for your phone, so it's really not that bad, provided you've got the middle row slid forward. An average sized adult's going to be fine back here, or the kids. But yeah, I'd say this is on a par with a 5008. You are going to get much better accommodation in the Santa Fe or the Kia Sorento, that kind of thing, but they are a lot more expensive, so I think that's fine. The middle row of seats gets shades on the window, a centre rear armrest, charging ports and air conditioning, as well as sliding and reclining seats. There is loads of leg and headroom back there, so basically, if you put the grandparents in the middle row and the kids in the back, everyone will be happy. So there is only one trim on the Tiggo 9, that's the Summit, which is the range topping trim in some other markets where you can have lower spec ones. In the UK we just get this. Everything you see on this car is standard. The leatherette upholstery, this nice kind of wood effect trim, 15.6 inch touchscreen, you've got heated and ventilated seats with massage function. Oh yes, it's got everything you could possibly want. It does feel a little bit cheap in some respects. There's a lot of gloss plastics, there's a few cheap touches, but you know what? It really doesn't feel bad generally. I don't think that's going to be a deal breaker at all. The touchscreen, got all the features you want, wireless CarPlay, all of that stuff, decent graphics, fancy home screens. It's got configurable shortcut buttons, which are actually really good. So you swipe down from the top, you can have whatever you want on here, your lane keep assist, your speed limit warnings, you can turn those off easily, drive modes, so I do like that. And it is really easy to just change those icons, and screen brightness there too. But Apple CarPlay, when you've got it activated, the climate controls disappear altogether. So that's really annoying because the voice control isn't very reliable. So you end up swiping through screens to get to a tiny little icon that says Chery, which takes you back to the home page, and then you have to go into your climate thing down here, and that's all a faff. That's really annoying. Also, when you're on CarPlay, all the icons for the shortcuts are here on the right-hand side of the screen, which means that they're actually hidden behind the steering wheel. So when you want to change anything, you have to literally lean around your steering wheel to see what you're prodding at. There are certain aspects of this screen that haven't been thought through terribly well. I don't like that you have to change your side mirrors on the screen and that kind of stuff as well. It's a little bit too screen dependent. The gear selector up here on the steering wheel, that's fine. You have to be absolutely standing on the brake pedal to convince the car that you definitely want to go from reverse into drive or drive into reverse. And if it's not 100% sure, it just puts the car into neutral and does absolutely nothing, leaving you stranded in the middle of the road while you faff about with the stick trying to get it to engage a gear. But these are all the niggles that are going to annoy you. Generally, on a day-to-day basis, it's really not that bad. And you do get used to the gear shifter and all of that. So I'm not trying to have a go at it, but I am warning you that there are some aspects that you'll think, they haven't thought that through really, have they? Other than that, good driving position, loads of kit. You're probably going to really like it. That 91 mile claimed electric range comes courtesy of a 34 kilowatt hour battery, which you charge up via the sockets on the wing of the car. You get fast charging of up to 70 kilowatts, which is impressive for a plug-in hybrid and means that you can have a top-up from 10 to 80% in under 30 minutes. A full charge from a 7 kilowatt home charger will take around 6 hours, or you could charge from a normal 3-pin domestic socket in around about 17 hours. You even get vehicle to load so that you can charge your electrical devices from the Chery's battery. As we know, the Tiggo 9 is a plug-in hybrid, 1.5 litre petrol engine. It is all-wheel drive. You can tow up to 1.5 tonnes with this car, and you get 423 brake horsepower, which is good enough, by the way, for 0 to 62 in 5.4 seconds. So it's not slow, and it does have quite a lot of different modes. It's even got various terrain modes, so you've got your sand mode, your mud mode, that kind of thing. I wouldn't say that this is going to be, the kind of car somebody's going to go for if they're going to do heavy off-roading, but it's going to be useful for horse yards, kind of country tracks, that kind of thing. You can toggle through your modes down here, and you've got, predictably, Eco, Normal and Sport are going to be your three that you're going to use most often. In Eco, it does feel decidedly like the steering wheel isn't really attached to anything, so it's very light. Not very kind of dialed in, but it's predictable enough. I don't think it's going to bother anybody. It does weight up in Sport, and that's fine. You do notice quite a lot of body movement on the car, but actually ride comfort's not bad. You can feel it bobbing about, but it's a heavy car. Doesn't really matter, does it? That's okay. So you've got the modes you want. You've got your electric mode and your hybrid mode down here, which are physical buttons, and that's good. I've had real world range of 80 miles out of this, which I'm really impressed with. So you really could run this in electric mode pretty much all the time. The vast majority of people could just barely ever need the 1.5 litre petrol engine under the bonnet. When that does kick in, it is quite thrummy, but it's quite in the distance, so it's really not going to bother you. 3-speed auto gearbox, it's all pretty smooth, it's quite a clever system, so you don't really notice it doing its thing. I have to say, it's a good hybrid system, this. I mean, it's not inspiring, it's fast, clearly, but it's not a car that you really want to drive quickly, even in sport mode. And I don't know if you can hear that. You probably can. Is that the world's loudest indicator tick? You're indicating! Tick-tock! Tick-tock! You're not going to avoid it, are you? You can't miss the indicator tick. It's pretty good. The ride's fine, it's comfortable. That's really what people are going to want, isn't it? There's no problem with that. I know it's predictable, but it is just one of those cars that does the job. With plug-in hybrids, you should always ignore the official MPG because it can be very misleading. Best to just consider that you're going to get that 70 to 80 mile real-world electric-only range, which will cover most people's needs. And when that 1.5 litre petrol engine is running, you're going to see around about 45 mpg, which isn't bad for a car of this size. So the Chery is certainly one of the more efficient plug-in hybrids that you can get. So this is a car that's going to cost you probably around about £500 per month on PCP with a pretty low £5,000 deposit. It's got a 7-year, 100,000 mile warranty, battery's covered for 8 years. It stacks up really well, doesn't it? All the finances, and that electric range, it's really efficient. It's really pretty good, this car. I really don't think you should discount it. If you're considering a 7-seat family SUV, you want a plug-in hybrid with the convenience of that electric running, you know, it really is going to do a good job. So yeah, check it out because it's great value and it's really very inoffensive to live with and drive. What more could you want? Don't forget to head to CarGurus.co.uk for a whole host of fantastic used cars, including loads of 7-seaters. And please do like, subscribe and all of that jazz.